So the iPhone 15 Pro Max is the highest end iPhone on the market today. And in this episode, we're going to talk about if you should consider buying the iPhone 15 Pro Max or wait for the iPhone 16 and 16 Pro Max, maybe even if they call it the Ultra, because there's rumors swirling around that there's going to be quite a few upgrades on the 15 Pro Max. So in terms of the price right now, this is typically going between $1,049 and $1,639. So the price really hasn't come down much at all for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it probably isn't going to all the way till September. So you better be ready to pay full price if you want to buy an iPhone 15 Pro Max right now. Now, I'm not saying cash out of pocket, but even on a carrier, you're going to be paying it over the long term. You might get some deals and subsidies, but overall, you're going to be paying top dollar. So is it really worth that right now, or should you wait? And I think if you need a phone now, it's kind of worth it because it's still a very high-end phone. And I actually think this is going to be the first year in a while. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking it's going to go up in price because there are rumors they're going to increase the screen size. And if they do that, the price is definitely going to go up at least $100 to $200. So you might want to get this before they increase the prices on the next iPhone. Now, from a design perspective, I do feel like our next iPhone is going to retain the titanium build. This is definitely a gorgeous design, and they just went to it for the first time, so I don't see them going away from it on the next one. However, what I do think they're going to do is thin out the bezels even more. Like, these are thin bezels, but they're probably going to be ultra thin bezels according to the rumors, which means that you might not even see a bezel. It might be the most all screen looking iPhone of all time. Plus, the dynamic island, there are rumors that Apple might reduce the size of this thing, maybe even try to get Face ID to be under display and then just keep the camera. We'll see how that goes. I don't see it happening personally next year, but if it does happen, that would be a pretty big change. But from the design perspective, I think you're going to see a pretty similar phone with different colors, some refinements, and a change in camera design is likely as well. But we have to realize that we're still early here. So a lot of things I could say now will change in a few months when I revisit this video. Action buttons should remain, but there might also be a capture button being introduced so you can go ahead and snap photos on the iPhone. So we'll see if that comes to fruition as well. But from a pure design perspective, I think this next one's going to look definitely different, as there's a lot of pressure from a lot of phone makers now. I think Apple's going to step up their game this year. So if you're looking for a fresh new design, you might want to wait. But if you're okay with the polished version of an iPhone 14 Pro Max right here, you'll really love this one right now. So when it comes to the display, there's nothing really wrong with this panel besides, well, it does have a dynamic island in the way. That's not really a problem for most people. Very well tuned colors, very accurate. The bezels are pretty minimal overall, but it's going to get bigger. We're more than likely going to see a 6.8 or 9-inch display, I think, on the next one. It's time that Apple goes up in size. We've had the 6.7 since like iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's been several years since a size increase. So I do feel like it's going to happen this year. So if you want also improved OLEDs, they're probably going to be definitely brighter and also improve with the color and scratch resistance on the display. So I do think that it's wise to wait if you really are into display technology. But if you just want a very, very solid display now, you'll be happy buying a 15 Pro Max. But I think you might regret it in September here, as I do think they're going to up the screen size, especially if you're into large phones. You might want to wait, as we're already almost 7 months in on this phone already. So for me, if I was looking right now and I had a really good iPhone, I would wait. But if I didn't have one and I needed a big iPhone, this is still a very strong display. It's still plenty bright. And this one doesn't auto dim, kind of like I've seen on the 14 Pro and Pro Max. So, you're still going to be very happy here, but don't expect all the latest technologies that are going to come with the upcoming 16 models. As if Apple doesn't come with a foldable or anything like that, I do feel like they're going to at least improve their standard slab display by a lot. So we'll see what happens. When it comes to software, I'd say, nah, don't wait here. Reason why is because you're going to get iOS, obviously, on here, and you're going to get it on the next one. In addition to that, this one will be getting the iOS 17.4.1, which I am supposed to do, but we're going to get the iOS 18 on this phone as well. And iOS 18 is going to give us really good AI features, and I do think the 15 models are going to get this. So I do have to say that you'll get plenty of update support left on here, several years, and you're going to get iOS 18, probably most of the AI features. Now, the upcoming 16 models will have an improved neural engine in board, and it probably will do a few extra AI things, but this one will still get a lot of it. So I wouldn't wait for software is what I'm saying. I think I would just get myself an iPhone 15 Pro Max if I cared about trying out the iOS software immediately. Performance is an area where the iPhone 15 Pro Max was getting a little bit toasty at the beginning, but now it runs cool and it's super blazing fast. But what I really love about the iPhone experience is not only that it's blazing fast, but it's super consistent day to day with virtually zero lag, and virtually everything runs as you would expect, but it's the animations. They're just buttery smooth. The touch response rate is also super smooth day to day. So no matter what you're doing here, it just doesn't matter. It's so smooth day to day for the iPhone and pretty much every single application. So this is where a lot of Android phones are still catching up, I would say, is the animation consistency versus Apple. I'm not saying the platform is catching up. I'm just saying Apple has been nailing this polish and consistency with animations for a very long time. So performance wise, super powerful chip, super powerful GPU, doesn't really take really good advantage of it in terms of the iOS software being pretty basic. But at the end of the day, you have a phone that you know you can count on in performance for several years down the line with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So performance, I wouldn't wait. You know, the next chip will be powerful. The next chip after that will be powerful. But if you need a phone now, you don't need to wait. This chip is amazing in the A17 Pro. One area I would wait for is if you want improved thermal performance. The heat dissipation on this phone is still not the best, even with their updates. If you are really pushing it, it can still get toasty sometimes, although it's nothing like when it first launched. The 16 models are going to have improved thermals big time. So if you're the type of person who gets annoyed with that, you might be annoyed with this phone. However, you really have to be pushing this phone to even ever feel that a problem. And if you have a case, you also don't really feel it. So you'll need to be using this phone without a case and pushing it hard. If you're that person, I wait for the 16 Pro Max or Ultra. The 15 Pro Max, it's decent here. It's much improved, but heavier games, heavier stuff, you might get a little bit toasty on this phone. So here's the camera. Let's take a look at some samples. I really love the accuracy, the tonality of the colors on here. It's very natural looking. They do have this like yellowish look to me though overall, and but they have a really sharp picture without being over sharpened. I kind of quite like it. Honestly, it looks kind of like what you would get out of like a Sony camera. There is some post processing that bumps up the HDR and stuff like that. But the iPhone remains one of the better cameras in the world, honestly. It's probably one of the go-tos for basically everything, especially video. Its versatility is a little bit lacking, but you can improve that by downloading some applications. What I wait here, they're going to change likely the design to be more of a vertical design. We'll have to see if that comes true. That's a lot of the rumors. But I think Apple might change the design of the camera. It's been a while since they've done that. I really like that the 15 Pro Max jumped up to 25 times zoom, 5x. Now, there's rumors that they're going to improve the ultra wide on here. The ultra wide zoom is going to get improved. The night modes are going to get improved and low light. So we'll probably see some upgrades to the front facing camera as well. But honestly, the iPhone camera here was quite a few upgrades. So I don't expect it to be like a major camera upgrade here. I think that's going to be on the next year's phone, like the iPhone 17 models. So I wouldn't wait, honestly, if I just needed a really good camera. You can go pick this up now and have an amazing, basically flawless camera experience most days of the week, including having the macro mode, incredible zoom, really good raw photos for editing, post-processing, and just results you can count on every day. I just wouldn't wait if I was looking for a really good camera right now. The area of battery life, I wouldn't wait here either. And the reason why is this phone is excellent on battery. I actually did an all-day battery test on this phone, and I was quite shocked how well it did. It was one of the better ones since the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Also, they're bringing new updates. You can limit this to an 80% charge. But their next one is supposed to be a little bit longer lasting. So if you're looking for a longer lifespan battery, like one you don't have to replace as frequently, you might want to go ahead and wait. You can see I have about 57 cycles on this battery. It still has a maximum capacity of 100%. I like how they're showing the cycle count now. That's really neat. But I wouldn't wait if you're looking for like crazy good battery life. The 15 Pro Max already has that on board. So you'll be pretty darn happy with its standby and its actual runtime. It's pretty amazing on the 15 Pro Max. So I wouldn't have to wait here either. In conclusion, would it be wise to wait for the 16 models or go with the 15 Pro Max? USB-C, action button on board, although yeah, and that could double as a camera, but not a capture. I'm not sure. I think it does work as the capture. Let's see if we could capture with this action button already. Yeah, you can already capture with that, so you don't really got to wait for a capture button if you don't want to. Really nice titanium build, long camera zoom, lighter than ever for this size. Really good resale value. It's a premium device. I mean, if you need a phone now, I don't think you have to wait. But if you want AI features, you want a bigger screen, you want something that looks different from your iPhone 12 Pro Max, 13 Pro Max, 14 Pro Max, like really different, I think this might be the year they do that. And if you want a bigger screen and reduce bezels, that's probably why I would consider waiting. But also the AI stuff might be a little bit more enhanced than the newer ones. But other than that, this is a fine phone right now. So let me know your thoughts halfway through the cycle on the 15 Pro Max. 6 months going on 7 months in. Would you still buy this right now? Let me know down below in the comments. Do you have one? Share your experience. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well. And peace.